Thank you, listeners, for joining us for today's Elko Live program here on KELK. We are going to visit with our guest today from a very important service in our community. In fact, it's been here for decades. People are very familiar with F.I.S.H, Friends in Service Helping, and it's not just a local effort. We know there are other locations elsewhere helping people in our community, and we have two wonderful people here today that you get to meet. The Assistant Director of F.I.S.H is Tia Ballard, and she's brought with her today the Hunger Grant Case Manager, Raquel Salaz, and we're going to talk about an exciting new event and the many services that F.I.S.H provides in our community. Well, first of all, welcome, Tia. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
We're really excited to talk about the Starry Night here today and to sell a few more tickets to Elko's first adult prom, or at least the one that F.I.S.H is hosting. I can't think of us ever having an adult prom before. This is cool.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm not aware of any previous events, so this will be a good test to see, how much fun we can have as a community.
Yeah, kind of reliving those memories or recreating make some new memories. That's what's most fun of all. So we'll talk about that. And then we also have Raquel. Raquel, thank you for coming on the program today. You have important work that you're doing every day to help our community. So it's great to get to meet you.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Would you mind, Raquel, we'll kind of start with you and then work in some conversation with Tia. And maybe you could tell us about yourself and how you came to this position. Are you new to the Elko community?
Actually, no. I've been here in Elko for 30 years. I actually started at F.I.S.H about 5 years ago, and I'm very impressed with what we do there. It's very gratifying and to help someone in need.
And you really do help people in need as the Hunger Grant Case Manager. Would you want to talk about, Raquel, what you do as the case manager?
Of course. I provide a customer service to individuals and families with supplemental assistance or any other needs they may have. I refer clients to other agencies or other organizations to help them meet their needs.
Mm-hmm. And Raquel, did you bring any special skills or background with you to the job about 5 years ago, or something that you've learned as you've gone along the way?
I just learned that there is a lot of assistance out there, and there's a lot of need out there as well.
Well, obviously, you're doing an amazing job in outreach and communication. It's so important to the community, so thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to come back to Raquel and find out more about how this food distribution works. There are several programs, as Raquel mentioned, and it's a bonus because she is bilingual, so she can reach also an important part of our population and people that are in need as well in helping families to better communicate and to make sure that families are being fed too. So Tia, I guess the first thing we'll do is talk about what you do alongside Sherry. You're the Assistant Director of F.I.S.H, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So I get to do all the bookkeeping. I do the grant billing. I provide support to Sherry and, support to the organization. And it doesn't feel like a job to me. I get really excited to go to work, and it's a happy place to be. And, when you're serving others, it comes right back to you. So it's something I really enjoy doing.
It's a nonprofit organization. I should mention that right off the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And F.I.S.H, because I can remember F.I.S.H when I first came here, there was a woman named Dee Waters, and she started F.I.S.H. I believe she was the one that started it. And she was pretty scrappy because I don't think Elko had a F.I.S.H before that. We were kind of piecemeal. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So 1987, I believe, is when we first got our, official status. So we have been around for quite some time, and we're still here and working on our mission. And I have never met her, but I am familiar with the name. So
yeah. She and for those of us who do remember Dee, I know she'd be so proud, so happy to see the way that F.I.S.H has evolved and just how much support that you have, because that's a huge part of F.I.S.H success from what I can see, especially in your social media post. What we'll talk about today is a lot of collaboration in the community.
Yes. We need community support to continue. That's just the way nonprofits are, and we've been really blessed in this community to be able to keep on going with all the support that we receive.
So before we talk about some of the services and the special event that's coming up this month, we should describe what it is that F.I.S.H does, or F.I.S.H does best in this case.
Okay. We were working on a proposal a couple of weeks ago, and Sherry and I were talking, and the term came up like rebuilding a life. And I think that really reigns true to any client that we come in contact with. We are looking, okay, do they need Medicaid? Do they need SNAP benefits? Do they need, just an emergency food box? Do they need clothing? Do they need a birth certificate for an employment opportunity or ID? Do they just need a bus ride home? So we're really looking at people, every case that comes in as an individual, how can we help them rebuild? Because we're feeding, the elderly who are living on, low income or very fixed incomes. We are feeding, single parents or, working class poor. We are, feeding the disabled. So we have quite an array of clients, but when we, come in contact with them, that's what we're looking first and foremost is what do we need? Food, clothing, shelter. How can we make this better for them? So that's just kind of the basic, interaction that we have with them. And I think it's a good place to start, that we really are there to help people rebuild. Let's pick up the pieces and let's, how can we make this better?
And you're meeting people where they are in any circumstance in life. Mm-hmm. And it's important to note, too, for the benefit of listeners that, and Tia's got some information to share with us, but it's not just travelers. We are helping as an organization, a nonprofit, and I say we because it's a collaboration, but F.I.S.H is helping residents and travelers.
Yes. So some stats that I brought with me, we served about 2,600 clients in the last year. And so these are people that are coming weekly for food boxes or staying in our shelter, or it could be stranded travelers. And of those 2,600 clients, about 42% of them are homeless. So the majority of them are residents. And then I'll let you know that we served 746 children last year and 333 seniors. We served 104 veterans, and of the 2,600 clients that we served, 816 of them are disabled. So anybody out there who lives on, a fixed income or has travel restrictions or physical limitations, we know how hard it is to get around town and get the things that you need to survive. We know how hard it is to make that last dollar stretch. And so for F.I.S.H to be in place for a safety net for the community, it is something I'm very proud of. And like I said before, I feel like I'm not going to work each day. This is such a great thing for the community, and I'm very blessed to be part of it.
Tia Ballard is our guest today, and she is Assistant Director at F.I.S.H, Friends in Service Helping. They have a physical location, which is at 821 Water Street, and as you said, they've been there since 1987, I think that's the date we figured on. Yes?
Yes, that is the year.
And you have services there that include a food pantry and a kitchen, as well as a thrift store.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, the thrift store, they do about $20,000 worth of clothing and material vouchers. So let's say we have a family that comes in and they've been reunified and they're getting back into their home. They need blankets, they need mattresses, they need dressers, they need cookware. These are the things that we're giving on vouchers for people, to start rebuilding. And that could also mean a tent. It could mean a tarp. It really is meeting people where they're at. And that's the thrift store. I mean, it provides a very great service to the community. We recently opened an outreach room, which makes it a little easier for people to get the socks that they need and the underwear and the hygiene supplies. So it just flows better in the thrift store, so people aren't having to go up to the counter. We built a room, specifically for the outreach supplies so that we can streamline things faster. So it really is a great resource, I think, and it's worked well. We've got coats and boots and all the things that you would need when you think of survival, that make it easier for us. So.
And that's important to note, because people might be thinking, oh, the thrift store just sells things and then the proceeds benefit all these programs and services. But that's why it's so important that if you're donating items that you're handing down, that they be in the best condition possible, something that you wouldn't mind, obviously, receiving or using if you were in that situation.
Correct, yes. We appreciate donations coming to us in good condition so that we can utilize them.
Mm-hmm. And some of those donations are going right out to the people who need them most.
Yes. So like I said, the outreach room, let's say we have somebody who has a job and they need an outfit for a job interview, or they need work boots. So those are things that we're putting on vouchers, to help the community get the things that they need to be self-sufficient.
Well, that's really important to know. Thanks, Tia, for explaining that. And as you said, $20,000, that's goods in addition to the services that are going out. And then again, people that donate household items or linens, as you talked about, or furniture, any number of things, toys, books are really popular. And that can benefit because the proceeds of the sales go back into our F.I.S.H. Distribution, correct?
Yes,
okay.
yes, to help run our operations. So one thing that we have is our emergency shelter, and this shelter is only grant funded at about 30 to 35%. So the rest of those expenses fall on F.I.S.H., and that's case management, that's a shelter intake. We've got to have staff at the shelter so that everything runs smoothly. These are the things that we do to make sure this program runs and stays open. And just in the last year, so from December 22 to December 23, we had almost 4,000 nights in the shelter. So it is a huge benefit to the community. I've never not had a place to stay, but I know that people do often in our community, and they come to the door looking for, a warm place and a safe place. And we're the only shelter of its kind between Reno and Tooele. So there's a lot of area that we cover and a lot of individuals and families that we serve in the shelter, and it's a beautiful program.
Of course, we're talking about the Samaritan House Emergency Shelter, and it's pretty small scale. And the sad truth is, Tia, there's often a waiting list. There are specific rules about being in Samaritan House.
Yeah. Right. So when somebody wants to stay there, we do run a wants and warrants check to make sure that we're not harboring any fugitives. We do require them to pass a breathalyzer. Alcohol can make people really aggressive, and so for safety reasons, we do ask that they pass a breathalyzer. We ask for ID. Now, a lot of times somebody's being discharged from the hospital and they might only have a hospital bracelet. We can work with those things. We really try first and foremost to have the goal of shelter. That is what the shelter is for. It's to shelter. And we do run a sex offense, registry to make sure that we just have families staying there. And so, we can't cohabitate with sex offenders and families. So that's a rule that is in place. And we do offer case management. And that's the beautiful part of this program, is that we're meeting with these clients weekly, helping them rebuild and work their program. And each person's program is different. So we might have a veteran that's living on a fixed income. Maybe he's waiting for his next check to hit, and we see a lot of people juggling medication and rent, and there's just not enough to go around, especially in the elderly population. So it is a beautiful program to be a part of, and to see the lives, the people that get to move on in their life and get to the next level. I will touch on that. So we've helped 40 families in the last year get into permanent housing, or keep it solid with utility assistance so they can pay their rent. But so either way, through rent or utility assistance, it's been 40 families in the last year, and that was around $25,000. Wow. So I think we're doing good things with the dollars that we earn in grant funds and with our income from the thrift store.
Oh, certainly, Tia. That's those families that you've helped, and this is just a temporary shelter. Mm-hmm. Everything's being done to help support the family, to get them back onto their feet, to get them as independent as possible.
Correct.
Okay. So, again, if anyone is interested about any of the things we're talking about, the Samaritan House is an emergency shelter, and the food services, which we're going to talk about with Raquel, are also available to both residents and travelers. It's important to note that. I can remember when Susan Martzoff was working on developing Samaritan House, there are often a lot of hurdles, right, Tia, that you have to overcome, and until people really understand that these are friends, neighbors, sometimes even family members that these things happen to.
Correct. So a lot of people say, why can't they just get a job? And if when we're coming into contact with somebody who maybe has been unsheltered for a while, if they don't have ID or a birth certificate, you aren't getting a job. If you're not showered, you're not getting a job. If you're not well kept, you're not getting a job. So these are the barriers that we try to, break down for them by giving them access to hygiene supplies and the showers at the Samaritan House and the vouchers for work clothing. We're trying to give them a hand up. Because that's what loving your neighbor is about. And truly, at the bottom of our mission, to me, that's what it means, is loving your neighbor and meeting them where they're at. In our organization, we have the ability to not keep score for people it's really not about how many times somebody messes up or tries again. It's about that one time they do succeed. So it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, Tia, and I am sure there are countless success stories. We don't always hear about the success stories, and that's why it's great that you're coming on Elko Live today and talking about this, because we want people to know that this is a very well-supported organization, nonprofit, but you are serving, thousands of people, both residents and travelers in the community. So we're going to we're going to segue over to you, Raquel, to talk about the food. I think she's feeling like, we do all this. We do all these great services.
We do. F.I.S.H services for different programs throughout the month. And I'm going to just tell you a little bit about what clients can pick up weekly. So we service the Hunger Grant, TFAP, which is USDA commodities. And then we also have the mobile harvest, and we have farmers market at the end of the month. Each program you can pick it up once a month. And we also have senior boxes you have to be 60 years and over. That's just, we are very limited on that, but we do service about 150 senior boxes
every month.
Every month,
That's
yeah.
quite a bit. Yes. Now, are there certain qualifications do people need to fill out paperwork, Raquel, or what's the best way?
We just have them fill out an application. They come in, we fill out an application, and that's how we keep track of the services that we provide.
Now, Raquel, do you think people listening would be surprised of who's hungry in the community or how many people are hungry?
Of course. I myself was surprised to see how many people are in need out there.
I would like to throw in a fact, you guys, because I'm all about numbers. So food services in the last year, 36,425 food requests were filled by Elko F.I.S.H, our food bank. So 36,425. So that is huge when you think about the size of Elko County.
Yes.
It absolutely is. And those are the people that can get to F.I.S.H at 821 Water Street. Okay. Because you do have a soup kitchen, right, which is a little bit different than the commodities that are distributed?
Yes, we do. We have our soup kitchens. We have meals to go. They are served Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 11:30 to 1.
And you don't have to be a client to receive a lunch, I understand. It's just you get a sack lunch?
Correct. You just grab your sack of lunch and then you go.
Okay. And the sack lunches are made possible by a variety of sources, would you say, Raquel? You get some donations or?
We do. We get some donations, but we do have a cook, Jackie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jackie, if you're
Yes.
listening.
Yeah.
Seriously, that is such a huge job because she literally has to look at the pantry and decide what does she have, right, to make all these meals.
Jackie's a good lady for sure.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Lunches are served at 821 Water Street. As Raquel described, it's a hot lunch Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. and they are just offered free of charge. So that's the immediate need, right, Raquel? And
Correct.
Tia, people need food.
Yes.
You can't go anywhere on an empty gas tank.
No.
Okay. So then, as you mentioned, there are farmers market, there are all these different programs. So these might be tailored for different kinds of needs or family needs, and it could just be temporary. That someone needs
Yes,
help?
definitely. It's maybe we'll see somebody once, and then we don't see them like 4 years later, 3 years later, a year later. So,
And maybe the cost of groceries has created this situation.
yes, a lot of people do talk about inflation.
Okay.
Oh, yes, a big squeeze.
Yes.
We just had somebody come in who he had been on long-term disability from having surgery on his neck, and he's employed with one of the gold mines, and he has 3 kids at home, and so yes, he might need help temporarily, and eventually, hopefully, he will be back to work and getting a paycheck. But these are the types of things, the different situations that we see coming to us. It's a lot of people are one paycheck away from needing assistance.
And that's a good place, I think, ladies, to both Tia and Raquel. If you could send a message to someone who, is in need, they're going without, but they're proud, or they're embarrassed, or there are a lot of emotions that go with this. What would you tell them, Tia?
I would say that for your own mental health, go ahead and reach out to us, because if we can alleviate, the strain on food, or maybe it's a gas voucher, something that would alleviate stress from you so you can focus on something else and be kind to yourself, because that's really what it is, right? Our pride gets in the way, and We don't want to ask for help, and I know how that is, but there are resources out there, and we're happy, smiling faces, and we love to help. We're not going to make you feel bad about coming down and getting an emergency food box. Maybe you're living in a motel. You just moved here, and you haven't found a place to rent yet. All these things. We just see all these different scenarios that I would just tell people, to be kind to yourself and reach out for that help.
Tia Ballard is our guest today alongside Raquel Salaz, and both are from F.I.S.H, Friends in Service Helping. And wanted to give you a chance, Raquel, to reach out as well. And because you have the gift of being bilingual, did you want to maybe try to reach out to families in both languages? Or?
Yes, of course. If you don't speak English, all the girls in client services speak Spanish, so you're more than welcome to come in and fill out an application. We also help out with that. So don't be afraid to come in and get services.
And we know a lot of children sometimes, right, to help their parents navigate, or their families or grandmas and grandpas?
Yes, I was one of them growing up with my parents.
Oh.
So yes.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. Absolutely.
Oh, well, thank you, yeah.
Yes.
I love helping the community, and it's the more I'm there, I am very blessed to help out others. So.
Well, and you are certainly a successful young woman. We appreciate that you're able to encourage other people who, whether or not they're new here or they're simply growing up here, because there are a lot of Spanish speakers who have grown up here. That's yes. A real gift to have that. Yes.
Thank you.
To communicate. Yes. The gift of communication. So we want to make sure we're giving enough time, because I know one of the big reasons, there's so many things that F.I.S.H does. You guys are going to have to come back, right? Will you come back?
Yes.
Yes, Raquel.
You know what? I did forget to mention that we also started the mobile market. We go to Green Acre Apartments, and we also go to Cimarron Village Apartments twice a month. This is just the food distribution that we started. It's called Mobile Market, and it's really nice because we have a lot of seniors out there in the complexes who can't get out and drive. Transportation is a big thing sometimes, and or they're disabled and they can't make it to our site. So we started Mobile Market, and anybody that's at those complexes or nearby and needing a food assistance, they're more than welcome to come. We are at the Green Acre Apartments from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. and at the Cimarron Village Apartments from 11 to 12 p.m.
And the F.I.S.H main phone number is the best way to reach you, right? 775-738-3038. And that's really a perfect segue, though, Raquel, into this special event that's coming up in just a couple of weeks. Tina.
Yes, so we are hosting Starry Night, which is an adult prom. This will be at the Stockman's Ballroom Casino on February 17th from 7 to 10. And it is a fundraiser, and so the programs that we're specifically fundraising for are the Mobile Market and the Samaritan House. So these, are expensive programs. It takes labor to run the Mobile Market. We're bringing our food bank van to on-site, and these clients are able to pick the goods that they want for their box on-site, and they're getting the physical help and assistance back to their apartment with the goods. So like Raquel mentioned, these are people that have travel restrictions or physical disabilities. The elderly, a lot of times can't lift a box, or maybe they can't drive. So this is really a valuable asset, I think, to the community as a whole. We have a huge aging population, and it's a big necessity. And with inflation the way it is, low-income families, there's just more and more. Like, we are getting the squeeze, So we're hopeful that this event, Starry Night, is not only a fundraiser, but a friend-raiser. So we're trying to raise that awareness of the good that we're doing in the community, and, to celebrate it. People should be proud. If you're a donor to F.I.S.H, I want you to be proud of what we're doing. So it's really a night about celebrating the good that we do in the community and raising awareness.
Oh, sounds fantastic, Tia. The band is going to be, it's a live band. It's hijacked, and DJ Chip Stone, so he's going to rock the night.
Yep.
Yes, definitely. All the beautiful people are going to be there for sure. It is Saturday, February 17th from 7 to 10 p.m. right there downtown Elko at Stockman's. It's going to be a magical night. You can kind of relive the prom, or maybe have the prom you never got to have. Right. And that's the thing too. You can dress it up. You can wear your tuxedos and your sequin dresses, or I bet you could come as you are, but you're going to want to dress up.
Yeah, we're hoping that people will, dress up and feel good about themselves. Have a good night out,
Yep, definitely. And terrific night of dancing and nostalgia, and just it's an adult prom, and the theme is Starry Night. Again, it's Saturday, February 17th. So you're going to be supporting an amazing cause. There's going to be hors d'oeuvres, as well as the music we talked about, a cash bar, and a lot of dancing.
Yes, and a chocolate fountain. That was one thing I was excited about. I said, who won't remember a chocolate fountain? So I would like to give a shout out to Jen Glasgow. She's going to do the photography. She's going to bring her selfie station. Carmela with Blooming Events is doing the decorations. CK Connections has been doing the event planning for us. And you mentioned Chip and Hijacked. They're going to, they're going to set the tone for the night with the good music. And Stockman's. They did a fantastic donation for us to be able to have this there. So I would, thank you to everybody. And I'm sure there's people I'm forgetting, but all of our sponsors too. I can't name them all, but, they will be celebrated that night. We're going to be popping logos everywhere. And, everybody will know who's a fan of F.I.S.H.
It's poppin' and rockin' for the fans of F.I.S.H. and those yet to be.
Yeah.
That sounds like a theme going on. It's for 21 and older, so get a sitter. Seriously, there's going to be a great time. Yeah. And this adult prom fundraiser is for F.I.S.H. So where to get tickets?
You can go to Eventbrite and you can search for F.I.S.H. or Starry Night. Same thing on Facebook. So if you go into Facebook and you search for Starry Night and Adult Prom, it has its own event page. And the link is on there that will take you to Eventbrite to purchase those tickets.
All right, excellent. So all these things and much more available. 821 Water Street, we've been talking about F.I.S.H. today. We didn't get to talk about behavioral health services, but that is an important aspect of F.I.S.H. I know that you invite our local services and agencies on hand. We often talk with social services of Elko County. I know communities and schools must be an important partner. Harbor House, CADV, for example. Yep, so a lot of groups are working really hard together to make sure that people's needs are being met, because it's a reflection of us.
Right.
Yes. The care and kindness of our community and the opportunities that we want to afford people to get them back into whatever it is that brings them joy and happiness and health and enjoying their families. We know housing is an issue right now in Elko too. So certainly. So if you have any questions, again, the F.I.S.H. Thrift Store and these services are available. If you need assistance applying for food stamps or Medicaid, there's a caseworker that comes on premises, right?
Yep, every Monday.
Perfect. If you need food, Raquel's going to get you hooked up with food.
Of course.
Yes. Oh, and just to see these beautiful women and their wonderful smiles. That's when I wish we were TV, because you could see how enthusiastic and that they are about this as well. I hope you can hear it in their voices. Plenty of client services. So whether you need help, I'm sure you work with Family Engagement Center at the Elko County School District. It just comes to mind. There are all these different agencies and organizations that want to help people in our community. No one should be hungry. No one should be cold. And these are services that can be provided right off the top from F.I.S.H. certainly. And then we'll get you everything else you need, right?
Yeah, right.
All right. We want to be known as this community that cares, and that's something, it's a tradition that F.I.S.H. has certainly established for us. So I'm hoping that we got to all the topics today. Again, just the best place to find you is 821 Water Street. If you have questions about anything we talked about today, you do have a website and a Facebook page.
Yes.
775-738-3038. Anything else, ladies, for now?
No, thank you for having us.
Yes.
Absolutely. Raquel, I told you you're going to want your own show. Okay. You'll come back too, Tia, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. So looking forward to the prom, Starry Night, and we're going to be talking this one up here.
Oh, good.
Yeah, definitely happy to help. And thank you, listeners, so much for joining us for another edition of Elko Live here on KELK today. Thank you, listeners.